Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Harakah Kadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, a great most honor, rule well, and shalom to the brothers doing the way to serving truth, pushing his word to the four corners. Just kind of wanted to go through Philippians 1, just because, whilst we're here, a core kind of aspect of, being in the flesh and being in this word is, hardships, afflictions. And it's going to be diverse amongst the brothers. Someone might have, issues with, family, might have issues with, maybe someone at work, people in the world or whatever. Or, your woman, your kids. There's a diversity of ways that they can manifest. But then, with those things manifesting, with them being seen, then you're kind of meant to take it as a lesson, and then really be aware. It's a matter of it's preparation for things to come, and then even looking back at prior prior examples of men. Paul, for example, being hemmed up in jail. To take it as a lesson, like it's really a blessing, man. It's something that whilst you're in the flesh, it's gonna seem like a torment, seem like some form of agony. But then the what do you call it? In at the tail end, when we're going into the kingdom, those things are gonna be counted as a blessing. But we're in the flesh, so it's that shit is fucked. There's that aspect to it as well. Philippians 1:12, it says, "But I would you should understand, brethren, that the things which happen unto me have fallen out rather unto the furtherance of the gospel." And yeah, that's a core part. The gospel is still forwarded. Being grabbed up, thrown in jail, receiving different forms of hardship in the world. There's things that can be looked at even by other brothers to be like, okay, that's just the nature of being in this word, man. That's proof that what we're doing is correct. Not being loved of the world. That's a given. Because why? It's those that are loved among the world. Is why it's whilst everything's out here, it will be going swimmingly. These are the what is it? These are the wicked that prosper in the world. I believe it is. That's the ones prospering is they're doing all kinds of funky shit on the down low. That's why you're having exposés come out where it'll be like, oh, the BBC was covering up this. Oh, on Epstein and XYZ was they've got these things coming out, and it's on a lower level with the lesser luminaries. But then on the elite level, that's what's going down as well. These guys are essentially what do you call it? On the elite level, these guys are conducting themselves in the same way, and that's really a big aspect of how how shit gets shit runs out here. It says what? So that my bonds in Hamashiach are manifest in all the palace and in all other places. Yeah, because where what prisons in Yahushua, and that's part of of the conduct is we're restricted and restrained in how we can maneuver in the world, and then the world's gonna desire of you all kinds of madness. But Revelation 2:10, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. And yeah, that's the mindset we're meant to have. Fear none of those things. It's an expectation. That's how it's gonna run, and especially now in the time we're in, where it's anyone that is following Yahweh, following His word. We're looking to be demonized, looking to be thrown in jail. They're gonna, try and slander us, despite the fact, all we're doing is going out, teaching the word. That's really we're dealing with prophecy. It's through prophecy. That's how we're establishing this word. But then it's because of that spiritual stronghold, that spiritual power being exercised, and being used to tear down. What's it called? Being exercised and being used to tear down Esau's, wicked spiritual strongholds on the left hand side. That's why it's something so urgent, something being executed on from with all their strength, man, to try and bring an end to this word. So it says, what verse 14? First, Philippians 1 and 14. Back in Philippians 1, it says, and many of the brethren in the Lord, waxing confident by my bonds, are much more bold to speak the word without fear. So yeah, seeing the hardships that Paul was going through, there were more brothers that were then bold to preach the word. And that's really how you're meant to take it, as a thing like, oh, okay, that's something that happens, a blessing onto him, and it's even more of a sign this is where it is. Then it stirs up your spirit to kind of be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to push that further. Romans 12 and 1, it says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that you present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service. So yeah, we're meant to be in the mindset of presenting your body as a sacrifice. And that's viewed as what? A reasonable service. Not even as going above and beyond. That's just the baseline. That's just the reasonable service. Because yeah, what does it say? Holy and acceptable. So you got to, present that sacrifice the correct way. The example you can go to is Cain and Abel, where, Cain tried to bring, some roots, some sprouts, a decaying fig, and be like, that's just, there's when you're doing sacrifice, there's a correct thing you're meant to present. There's the acceptable way, the acceptable channel to do things. But then what? That's meant to be the mindset, accepting it. And be not conformed to this world, but be you transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. It's funny because this scripture, they read it at Will and Kate's wedding like forever ago. I remember watching that and them reading that and being like, Oscar, I was like, that's funny as hell. When I read in Romans 12, be not conformed to this world. Meanwhile, they them guys are the world. But that's, as far as within this word, it's something that's not meant to bend. When you go into the, the Roman Catholics, you can even go into to guys that know their Hebrews. IUIC, why is it they're saying Christ, God? Why is that coming out? Because they've conformed to the world. Christ is an aspect of Esau's rule, man. That Jesus Christ. Anyone you talk to anyone on the planet, if they know that Jesus Christ is, and some white guy is going to come to mind. That's why we use the correct name, Yahweh Shai. You slam Yahweh Shai in Google, what'd you get? Dark skin images galore. You get the correct image that guides you to correct. Then it's the correct marker to kind of find what you're looking for. But then you go Jesus Christ. What you're gonna get? You're gonna get Cesare Borgia all up in there. But that's that's that what do you call it? Conforming to the world, man. Back in Philippians 1, so verse 15 says, some indeed preach Hamashiach, even of envy and strife, and some also of goodwill. And yeah, preaching of envy and strife. But it says what? The one preach Hamashiach of contention, not sincerely, supposing to add affliction to my bond. So yeah, guys going out there teaching, trying to get one over on Paul. Trying to be like, yeah, you deserve that. But then you don't understand. You're not got the spiritual mindset. You're looking at things carnally, and that's really like a lot of people where they're trying to, use the truth as some way to puff themselves up, to establish some great order that really is just under their vibration. 1 Corinthians 1:10, now beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, that ye all speak the same thing, and that there be no divisions among you, but that ye be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment. And yeah, that's how it's meant to be. This ain't a thing where you can just come in and just try and chop and change and just slide in something because you like it or because you want it or because it works for you. You're thinking, oh, well, why can't we have that? But then the reality is it's meant to be what? You're not meant to have divisions among you. You're not meant to what do you call it? To try and separate those things. You're meant to keep it as far as keep it in a way where it's everyone saying the same thing, because there's only one word, there's one message, there's one gospel. You're not meant to be one guy's using Christ, then another guy's using Yahushua. That how does that make sense? Someone's gonna come and be like, okay, so what's the name? And then that's why you had the old IUIC website where they had the name, and then you go, what's the Most High's name? You had all kind, like you had Yahweh up in there, you had God, you had Adonai, you had all kinds of names up in there, and then you're trying to find it. If you're not able to pass, you don't know the Hebrew, you just come in, you're gonna be confounded. And then they're just saying Christ. These men are just saying Christ everywhere you go. Christ. Man never say Yahushua. Man never do a Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatah. Like, so how you just be thinking it's just Christ, which you already know from the world. So it's not like where's the new in that? Where's the renewing? But it's a given, man. First Philippians 1:17. But the other of love, knowing I am set for the defense of the gospel. What then, notwithstanding every way, whether in pretense or in truth, Hamashiach is preached, and I therein do rejoice, yea, and will rejoice. Yeah. So, Yahushua is still being preached. And then even with those guys, it might draw a guy in. But then what? If, if the elect, they'll see GMS, they'll see GMS videos, might see the apostles videos, or see them talking about it, and like see that and be like, oh, there's so much more on point. This is like way more substantial meals I'm getting there, spiritual meals I'm getting from these guys. These guys are going into all the things I was meditating on, where these guys didn't know. I was thinking like, yo, how does X, Y, Z make sense? But then what? You get them substantial meals, then what? That's why 2 Corinthians 13:8, it says, for we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. And that's a reality. Even if they're trying to, confound, they've taken a bag and they've basically got to, try and subvert. They can't do anything against the truth. Same for Esau. Esau can't do anything against the truth. His role, his job is to be, what do you call it? To be the enemy, to be the adversary. But then even that, it's all working for the sake of the truth, the word. Philippians 1:19. So it says, what? For I know that this shall turn to my salvation through your prayer, and the supply of the Spirit of Hamashiach, Yahushua Hamashiach, according to my earnest expectation and my hope, that nothing I shall be ashamed, but that with all boldness, as always, so now also Hamashiach shall be magnified in my body, whether it be by life or by death. Yeah. So basically willing to sacrifice up to the point of death for what? The sake of Yahushua, for that word to go out, to fulfill the job, the role it was given. And that's the mindset, that's how it was being set as an example, being hemmed up in jail, having all forms of hardship for the word, not because you were going around uppercutting white people in the hood or whatever, but because of teaching this word. And there's various brothers have been grabbed up, thrown in jail just for teaching. That's it's nothing new. It's not even like there's examples you can look to. So That's really why it's a thing, a matter of what do you call it? It shouldn't even be a surprise, a marvel. You should kind of look at it like, yeah, be willing and ready, because you go into Revelation, it says that, they're going to be saints that are going to get their heads chopped off for Yahushua. That's gonna, the guillotine and whatnot. Those things are gonna have to go down. There'll be men that will die, but there'll be those that are preserved as well, those that are saved. And then, to receive their new bodies will be those that are raised up. They get, them powers, and then, get power over the elements, over men and whatnot, to then, be a example of, of the power of Yahweh Shem Yahshua B'Shem Arakah Kadash. So that's why it's we look at these things, it's meant to build your faith. Even if you go through hardship and you feel affliction, then no, it's just like, yeah, I'm sure this is the right thing, man, and keep on trucking. 2 Corinthians 4:17, it says, "For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. While we look not at the things which are seen, but the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal." And yeah, that's the core of it. We're looking at things, further forward, where it's a thing that we realize that, looking carnally, people might just be like, damn, how's it, how could this be? What's gonna, but we know spiritually, because we have what we can line it up with the scriptures, to then know, okay, these prophecies are being fulfilled. Oh, that's being fulfilled there. Okay, this could lead to this. And with that kind of mindset, then it's with that kind of mindset, then it's all letting you know this is where it's going, man. It's what it's gonna be. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom, shalom.